My name is James Wright, and I was just your average guy, until one day, everything changed. It started at the cafe where I worked, trying to make ends meet while figuring out what to do with my life. It was a quiet morning, the kind where nothing ever happens.
I was wiping down the counter when he walked in, dressed in a sharp black suit with dark sunglasses despite the overcast weather. I could feel his gaze as soon as he stepped through the door, like he was looking right through me. He wasn't a regular customer. No, this guy was here for something else. "James Wright?" he asked, his voice steady, almost too formal for the laid-back cafe. I turned, a little surprised. "Yeah, that's me. Can I help you with something?" He didn't smile, just handed me a business card, a simple black one with nothing but a symbol embossed on it, a crescent moon with a shadowy silhouette inside. I took it, confused. "What is this?" "You've been selected," he said. "We know about your skills. We need someone like you." At that moment, I didn't know what he meant by skills. I wasn't some secret agent or master of anything. He slid a file across the table and I reluctantly opened it. Inside were photos of a man I didn't recognize, followed by a long list of codes, locations, and strange symbols. He leaned in closer, his voice dropping. "We need you to catch a spy, someone who's been operating under our radar for months. His identity is unknown, but we believe he's close. You'll track him down, James. Find out who he really is." I swallowed, trying to make sense of the situation. "Catch a spy? Are you serious?" He didn't blink. "Dead serious. We've been watching him for a while, and now we're turning to you. You're the only one who can get close to him. You'll be trained, given resources, and everything you need to bring him down. This isn't just a job, James. It's a mission that could change everything." I didn't know what to think, but the way he said it, like my future was already decided for me, made it hard to refuse. So I agreed. The first few days were intense. They threw me into a crash course on spycraft, surveillance, and tactical training. They taught me how to blend into crowds, track someone without being noticed, and how to read people's behavior. It was like something straight out of a movie, but it was real. The deeper I got into the training, the more unsettling it became. Everything about it felt wrong, like I was being shaped for something I didn't fully understand. But then, one day, the file was handed to me. Kyle, my best friend from high school. I stared at the photo, unable to breathe. The guy in the picture looked nothing like the Kyle I knew. He looked like a stranger. But I could see the familiar spark in his eyes, the same one I'd seen thousands of times before. "You know him?" the agent asked, his eyes studying me closely. "Yeah, that's Kyle. He's my best friend." My voice shook as the reality of the situation started to settle in. Kyle wasn't just a guy I knew. He was the spy they were after. I couldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. There had to be some mistake. But the more I thought about it, the more it all started to make sense. Kyle had been acting strange for months, disappearing for days at a time, leaving vague excuses, always distant. I never thought much of it, but now it was clear. I'd been blind to the truth. I began tracking him. At first it was harmless enough, just following him around, watching him go about his day. But then the meetings started, secretive ones with people I didn't recognize. He was always looking over his shoulder, like someone was watching him. And I was. It wasn't until one night that I saw something that made my blood run cold. I followed him to an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town, my heart thudding in my chest. I stayed hidden in the shadows, watching as Kyle exchanged a briefcase with a man in a suit. They spoke in hushed tones, too quiet for me to hear, but the exchange was clear. I couldn't just stand there. I had to know the truth. I took a step closer, but before I could react, I heard a voice behind me. James, you're not here to stop me, are you? I froze. I knew that voice. It was Kyle. He stepped out from the shadows, his eyes piercing into mine. There was no warmth in them, no trace of the friend I had once known. Instead, he looked at me with cold calculation, as if he were measuring my every move. "Why?" I whispered, my voice barely audible. "Why are you doing this?" Kyle smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. "You really think you can stop me? You've been following me this whole time, but you never saw the truth. You were always too busy looking for something that wasn't there?" I shook my head, disbelief still clouding my mind. But the more I uncovered, the more I realized the spy wasn't just Kyle. It was me, too. The day came when I had enough. I was done being a pawn in Kyle's game. "Let me know if you'd like to continue or adjust anything." Got it. Here are just the lines with the prompts left out. I showed up at the warehouse where it all started, the same place I had first seen him exchange the briefcase. But this time, it wasn't just me and him. The whole operation was about to go down. The air was thick with tension as I entered the building, prepared for anything. Kyle was waiting for me. "You're not going to stop me, James," he said, his voice low and threatening. I shook my head. "I'm not trying to stop you, Kyle. I'm trying to stop myself." I lunged at him, but before I could get close, the door slammed shut. I was trapped. "I knew it would come to this," he said, stepping back. "But don't worry. You'll figure it out soon enough. You've always been a part of this."
As he disappeared into the shadows, I realized the horrible truth. I wasn't just working for them. I was them.
I stood there, the realization sinking in. Everything I knew, everything I thought I understood was a lie. I was no longer just a man caught in the web. I was the spider, too. I left the warehouse walking into the cool night, the weight of everything I'd learned pressing down on me. I was no longer just James Wright, the cafe worker. I was someone else now, someone who had seen too much, learned too much. The man I used to be, the one who laughed with Kyle, who shared dreams and hopes. That person was gone. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was in too deep, that there was no going back now. But there was something inside me that refused to back down. A fire that wouldn't be snuffed out. The truth was, I had never truly known Kyle. Not in the way I thought I did. He had always been playing a game I couldn't see, pulling the strings while I danced along like a fool. Kyle had never seen me as a friend. I was just a pawn, a tool to get what he needed. And I had fallen for it. I had fallen for him. I had to find a way out, a way to stop Kyle, and stop whatever this was before it consumed me entirely. I had no choice now. Kyle was my enemy, and I would stop him, no matter what it took.